Welcome to the Necronama.com, where we're spending all of October looking at 31 episodes of the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. Today, we're looking at Treehouse 19 from November 2nd, 2008. I am James Sabata.
I'm Don Guillory.
And, Sexbot, where are you at?
Oh, sorry I'm late. I'm here now.
Where have you been?
Where haven't I been?
That's right. Can I just say how excited I am to talk about this episode? Like, this was the first one that I was totally back into. Like, I don't know if you guys liked this one, but I loved this whole episode, basically.
It did it for me. I mean, it wasn't anything I was particularly blown away with. We'll talk about the intro, but I love the intro for this one. And then the DEAD-VERTISING one really caught my eye because it deals with a lot of issues with that we'll get into. But yeah, it worked for me overall.
Yeah, I like this one. I like the Great Pumpkin spoof the most, I think, and because I loved that story as a kid, and it just goes so off the rails and so crazy by the end of it, and I really enjoyed just how zany it was. But yeah, that initial opening sequence of Election Day 2008 was pretty crazy.
Hopefully we won't be revisiting something like that within the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see. Oh, man. So yeah, let's get into the opening. Run me through it, Don.
All right. It is November 2nd, 2008 when this comes out. It is election week. Of course, you know, for most people, we have to remind you that elections take place even when someone is not running for president. But this was a very substantial race. Well, partially because race was involved. There were a lot of people who exposed themselves as the racist they've always been. With their choices of, attacking people when it came to this election. But the Simpsons went with the contrasting sides of the street where you've got the Obama ads and windows and flyers and flags and stuff like that. And then on the other side, you have the McCain stuff. So Homer goes to vote. He hits the electronic machine or goes in to vote in the double wide voting booth.
Because he was too large to get into the others.
Yeah. You know, it sucks to be him sometimes. Starts pushes the button to vote for Obama, and the machine tells him 1 vote for McCain. And he starts arguing with the machine and eventually just keeps on voting for McCain and even says, that is 1 more vote for President McCain. And what's great is after they, tally all these votes with Homer, he's like, I only wanted 1 of those votes to count for McCain.
I like that joke.
But that when I was watching this one, it reminded me of where we were in 2008, where there wasn't this sense of dread and gloom about an election. It was kind of like, okay, Obama's going to win, but by how much? Because I can say this, and I have no qualms about saying it. John McCain was a sucky politician, a sucky candidate during that race. And not just because he chose one of the worst human beings ever to be a running mate. But, we'll get into that on another show at another time. But what it also made me think about was the way that we got in these these discussions revolving around the concept of a black person becoming president. And there were people who were saying things like, is America ready? Which is a ridiculous thing to think about, because there were several people who had brought this up, whether it was Frederick Douglass or Du Bois, or even in a humorous sense, Chris Rock brought it up by stating, why does it have to be that, it's an accomplishment. It's an accomplishment that Obama, a black person, became president. It should be an accomplishment. I'm sorry. It was an issue of Obama's not, the exception to the rule. He's not proving that he is somehow exceptional. What America is finally doing is recognizing that there are exceptional Black people, and there are Black people that are worthy of the title of the leader of the free world. Because there were no Black people that didn't believe that they couldn't do it. But if you go to pockets of America at this time in 2008, and I'm going to pick on the University of Mississippi, not just because of the way Greek life has behaved over the past few weeks, actually past couple of months, in ignoring every restriction that has been placed on them. But when the presidential debates were held here at the University of Mississippi in 2008, there were some racist folks who decided to gather around the Confederate statue that used to be on the campus and show their disapproval of a Black person daring to run for office. So some parts of America were ready and felt it was overdue. Other parts of America felt like, the world was ending and couldn't deal with it. But fuck them, life goes on. Hopefully, hopefully we don't have to deal with any of that bullshit in the next couple of weeks. So anyway, long discussion about the cold open.
So the thing that I find most interesting is the continuity going into the first skit, because you have this machine that comes to life and kills Homer. And then we move into Untitled Robot Parody, which is obviously a parody of Transformers, just like the GoBots was. And
yeah.
So with that said, my favorite when I was very young was a GoBot. But anyway, so Bart buys Lisa a Malibu Stacy convertible, not realizing that it's a Transformer. Lisa's all excited to get an actual Christmas present from her brother. And then, it goes kind of evil, and it starts turning all the other technology around it into robots as well, including the toaster, the poor toaster. And then the robots basically start this giant war in the middle of Springfield. And for some reason, Homer and Ned both stick out of robots' buttholes. So that's exciting. And then Marge comes out. As Marge does, she puts an end to the war. And she's like, what are you two even fighting about? And they have no idea. They cannot remember. And so then they kiss, they make up, and they decide we'll instead launch a war against humanity. And so these two aliens start their war with humanity here in Springfield. And then that's about it, really. Oh, and then at the end we get human foosball, which is an actual thing, and people should check it out. It's actually pretty fun.
I'm going to take your word for it on the human foosball because I've seen it, and it's a hard pass for me.
Whoa! I didn't mean it's fun to be in it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I really like this one. I feel like they didn't try hard as usual, and yet it was still fun. I don't know. In some ways, the Transformer movies became their own parody, so I guess they didn't need to try. But
I think they tried harder than the Transformers did.
Yeah, that's probably true, actually. But yeah, this has the sex bot line, and it's got one of my things I quote all the time. We've talked about lines that we constantly say. And I had no idea until I watched this. This is the first one I remember seeing again, right? Like, I know there was quite a few episodes I hadn't seen. I quote this one a lot, and I didn't even realize, because I always say the toaster's never lied to me before. So.
Well, that even became a meme. The whole idea of, it was about guns, and I'm going to get the meme wrong, but basically it was like, people say, I don't need guns, so... Or my wife told me the other day that I didn't need a gun. And so I laughed, and the toaster laughed, and I shot the toaster. And, it was just some stupid thing where it was like, you don't need a gun. What's going to attack you? But yeah, when I was watching this one thing that definitely stood out for me was that era that we were in the 80s with all these cool toys. I should say nostalgic toys now. I mean, they were cool to us, but we didn't realize how kind of cool they were because of the nostalgia factor until later. And so
we just knew that other kid's toys were way cooler.
Oh God! Yeah, especially the people who had the USS flag, like a couple of our friends who have one now. Yeah, if you were the rich kid on the block, you had the USS flag aircraft carrier from GI Joe. But no, when it came to like the Transformers or any of the other stuff that was out there, the fun thing was being able to play with them and then reenact this whole thing that it's actually alive. So we all thought our toys came to life at a certain age, as far as that curiosity as to whether or not it were alive. And so a similar question I've asked on previous episodes with stuff like this, if with the Transformers or any toys for that matter, what toy would you want to come to life?
It's easy. Sex bot.
Jesus Christ.
I'll go first because I was actually anticipating this question.
Oh.
There was this great show called Mask, and cars could transform into other things, including like a car that could open its doors and fly, and somehow that aerodynamically worked. And I don't know. I would like anything from that show. I just always thought that was a cool concept. I liked it better than Transformers, so it kind of ties into this as well. It made more sense to me because, I'm so involved in logic that Mask makes more sense. And yeah, I would definitely take a vehicle from that. Maybe like the Jeep that turns into a boat. That'd be kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be cool. All of my favorite toys as a kid and still now are just die-cast toys, like toy cars. So if I could have one of my like die-cast cars come to life and be a real car, that would be incredible.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, Don?
I'm stuck between, a Care Bear or yeah, I said it.
I want to hear where this is going.
I said it. I had Care Bears when I was a kid.
Wait, can I make Garbage Pail Kids come to life? Continue.
No, just one of those things as far as, I know this is going to sound very depressing, right? But I think it would be cool to have, one of those toys that actually has some type of emotional link or some type of logic that it can apply to where if you're a kid and you're having a fucked up day, you can come home and actually have a conversation and the thing can console you.
Well, that's what James's sex bot is for.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Cheer Bear. I failed you.
I'm with James on this one. I'm going to go down to a comic book store and get one of those like true to life Lara Croft action figures, and then I'll wish for that to come to life.
Now I just keep picturing that scene in Grandma's Boy.
you busty adventurer. She can go on adventures, and then I can just stay home. It'll be great.
All right, that takes us to the next.
Hang on, Thomas, tell us what he thinks about this episode.
Oh, I think you guys. There were some things that were really dark to me, like that silly string that was somber string for suicides. But the thing I liked the most was I
not supposed to laugh hysterically at that?
No, I laughed at it too. We're terrible people. But the joke I enjoyed the most, having lived in Canada, was the Boxing Day joke when the Autobots are boxing the day after Christmas. Like, finally, a Boxing Day that makes sense. I like that joke. But yeah, Don, take it away. Let's talk about the second one.
All right, second act is how to get ahead in DEAD-VERTISIng. If you didn't watch the show, people like me, you still get it, or at least the way this part of the episode opens, because it's a parody of Mad Men, which was very popular. But I have not heard anybody talk about this show since it went off the air, so I don't know about its lasting ability.
Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Everybody couldn't shut up about it, and now nobody ever brings it up.
Hey, it was in The Babysitter.
Yeah, but I mean, it doesn't have that same pull to where it's kind of like it's everywhere, or it's in reruns and people are watching it over again. They're binge watching it, and there are other shows where that works. This one I haven't seen that same love for it. But basically, Homer kills Krusty because Krusty, destroys a mural in Maggie's daycare, or whatever, because they didn't have licensing. They didn't have a permission to use his likeness. Homer ends up killing him. He goes into a wood chipper, and ad agencies contact him and say, "Hey, we need your help because dead people, we can use them to advertise." So it all goes into this. It turns into this thing where Homer is just killing all these celebrities, so that ad agencies can then use their likenesses to sell products
without paying them.
Yes, without paying them.
I don't even know if that's true, but it's a great premise.
I'm sure some lawyers were going after this one afterwards, like, hey, we need to fix this little loophole with your likeness there. But certain celebrities like John Wayne, I could give two shits about them being able to earn any money, because fuck them. Anyway, what did you guys think about this episode? I'm sorry, this part of the episode.
I thought it was pretty formulaic. I liked the premise, and I liked that they didn't necessarily have celebrities come into cameo. They just had people do impressions, and I like that. But overall, it definitely felt like a middle act. Like it wasn't a great first one, and it wasn't a great way to end it. But it's not bad. It's not the worst thing they've ever done.
Well, I thought it was interesting that some of the people they picked weren't dead when this came out.
Right.
Like Prince and Neil Armstrong. And then Homer killed him, and look where we are. The scene with John Wayne, like, sort of becoming friends with Prince was really uncomfortable, and all I could think was, God damn, I'm glad I'm not watching this with Don. So I just pictured you, like, breaking your TV. So...
I actually gave the middle finger to John Wayne as soon as he showed up, because I was thinking to myself, first off, John Wayne is in hell.
That's what I thought too.
According to The Simpsons and according to my own personal reality, John Wayne is in hell. And Prince would not give him the time of day. And I hate the fact that, when they do parodies involving Prince, they always make him some like meek human being that wouldn't, speak up for himself. All stories about Prince, as far as like who he is as a person or who he was as a person, it's like he would fucking tell you if he didn't like you, or he would show you that he didn't like you, like he so famously did with Kim Kardashian, where she didn't dance on his stage and he kicked her the fuck off. And he even said, like, if you're not dancing on my stage, if you're not going to dance, get the fuck off my stage. Which I loved. I mean, for many different reasons. But yeah, I mean, the pairings of this, even with the President's Day sale, where, there all these the dead people from history and the dead celebrities are watching, and George Washington, again, person I could give two shits about, is involved in a President's Day sale, and he ends up making out with Abraham Lincoln, who is in a wedding gown and veil, and he objects to this vehemently, and Abraham Lincoln, gives kind of the indication that he didn't have a problem with it, and I think it's really
Mr. Pennyface.
Yeah. It's really interesting, with the time of this in around 2005, 2004, and a couple of years after that, there was that big debate, or I shouldn't even say big debate, but there was a debate with some historians about the sexual orientation of Lincoln, and exactly where he fit, what his tastes were. There was never anything conclusive, and it was really historians that were using the context of today to judge language in the 1840s, 50s, and 60s. Whereas Lincoln historians were telling you, like, no, Lincoln was not gay. He was not into men. He was, as far as what we know, he was heterosexual. And the people that were using the documents to try and prove, or at least state that he was gay were using these letters or this correspondence that talked about sharing beds with men or referring to men affectionately by my dearest John or this. But
how many Johns did he have?
Yeah, many. So
hey, there's no better beard than Mary Todd.
Wow, he didn't need to. Anyway, but yeah, it goes into that whole thing about whether Lincoln was gay or not, and just kind of as a way to sell books is really what it came down to. Here's some things that I could read this way to sway you into thinking this about the man. And frankly, what I will say for anybody, if they're thinking I'm going a certain way on this, I couldn't give two shits. But as an historian, I'm going to look at the data. I'm going to look at the information. I'm going to look at the archives and, give you a narrative of the period. And I don't have to invent things. And some of that stuff with Lincoln was a little bit of invention. If he had been gay, that would have been great. His predecessor was gay. There's no dispute about that.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go with this John's theory, maybe Wilkes Booth was a jealous man.
No, he was a piece of shit.
He was in theater.
Hey, this whole whether or not Lincoln's gay should be the plot for National Treasure 3. I'd watch that movie.
I didn't bother.
I would just like to know what Nick Cage would find.
Nick Cage trying to prove that Abraham Lincoln was straight? Come on, what an incredible film that would be.
Maybe he's trying to prove that he's not.
Even
Maybe
better.
we filmed
a series
both.
of love letters, and they have it like when Homer's mother was writing to him in the newspaper. He has to read the first letter of the first word of the paragraph.
No, it's like the lake house. There's a magic mailbox.
Oh God!
Ooh.
And they can correspond with it's just Nick Cage.
No,
and
it would be the telegraph office. That's what it would have to be.
Writing letters to each other about sharing beds. What if we film both? Nick Cage is trying to prove he's straight in one version and trying to prove he's gay in another version. We don't tell anyone there's two versions. We release the film randomly to different theaters, and then we wait for the chaos.
And at the end, he jumps out of the screen and says, "Party on, dudes."
How about a completely different film where Nick Cage plays Lincoln, and it's the Lincoln Affair?
Why don't we just ask Daniel Day-Lewis if he hooked up with any dudes?
There you go. I love it.
Problem solved.
He's a method actor, so I mean.
Well, should I move on to number 3, or is there anything else you guys want to add to this one?
Oh, there's nothing.
The one thing I want to add is the best quote in this one. Mr. Simpson, you do have a talent for killing celebrities. Well, I'm no drunk driving. All right, let's move on.
Okay, yeah, the third one is a spoof of The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. It's called It's the Great Pumpkin, Milhouse. And Bart tells Milhouse there's this great pumpkin that comes on Halloween night. And it's basically, for the first half of it, it's verbatim Great Pumpkin. Milhouse is waiting for this pumpkin to show up. And then it just goes off the rails where the pumpkin actually does come. And he eats pumpkin bread thinking it's bread made for pumpkins, but it's actually bread made out of pumpkins.
That's a great joke.
And he loses his shit, and he vows revenge, and you find out that he is a racist. He's a racist pumpkin. All pumpkins are racist, apparently.
All orange people are racist. That's what I took from that.
He comes to the school dance where King and Kodos are there dancing with the kids. I like that bit. And then Lisa realizes, as she always does, that the solution is for Milhouse to imagine a turkey, Tom the turkey, who can come and kill the pumpkin. So the turkey comes and blows the pumpkin's guts out, basically, and his dying words are something like "pumpkin segregation forever." Yeah. And then they feed the turkey, or they explain to him that they eat turkey, and then it just repeats itself where he starts eating people from the school. I like this one because I grew up loving Peanuts. And it's just a fun Halloween themed. I'm surprised it took him this long to do a Peanuts parody.
Yeah.
And I thought they did it really well. I thought it was zany enough to work, and it was funny. I laughed many times during it. What did you guys think?
Well, even Milhouse pulls off Linus so well.
He does.
Like, it just perfectly fits.
Yeah,
100% believable.
The way they assigned each character, the Peanuts character, was really effective, I think, and I loved Homer as a Snoopy character.
And I loved Marge and her trombone.
Yeah.
And Ralph as Pigpen.
Yes.
I thought it was really smart, yeah.
The one thing that disappointed me, and it's not bad at all, it would have like really kicked it up for me even more. I've been obsessed with the movie Pumpkinhead for a while, and I really thought that's where this was going. Like, as he got all huge and crazy, I thought it was going to be like there was going to be some direct throws to that, but I was expecting too much.
I liked it. I mean, it wasn't an issue of any expectations on my part, other than, okay, they're going to do a spoof of the Great Pumpkin. But I loved how at least this whole idea of Halloween itself gets a good Halloween story in this one.
Yep.
And it's the whole idea. I mean, there are a lot of things where we have things that come to life, right? I mean, you got two stories where things are coming to life, and one thing where, death is the central issue. And then previous episodes, you've had whatever coming to life or out of the dreams or into reality or whatever. But it's really cool that it's this whole idea where the pumpkin that's supposed to be the symbol of this holiday, right, gets to see all the brutality that's taking place, where, Homer is sitting there talking shit to pumpkins as he's cutting them into jack-o'-lanterns. And this pumpkin has to watch and says, "Not the children." And then because there happens to be a yellow pumpkin, he's like, "Ugh, not with one of those yellow pumpkins." But even when Nelson dies, he's like, "I'd rather die than be a racist," or "I'd rather die than oh shit." Anyway, than be prejudiced like he is. But I thought it was funny, and I thought the Tom Turkey thing was good. I mean, it was predictable as far as like, yeah, they're gonna somehow turn into the same story with the turkey. But my question, which would really be cool to get into, is why are pumpkins racist? What makes pumpkins racist?
Being born into privilege, having your dad give you millions of dollars to start a real estate company in New York.
Damn it! I knew he would.
What?
Wait, we can't talk about pumpkins without talking about PSL, man. Look, it's October. This is the time. No? But I have noticed, though, a lot of people who really love PSLs are racist.
Well, there you go.
No? Okay.
One of the things I really like about this episode, you kind of hit, but I feel like it's really worth grinding in. It's that these skits all fit a Halloween episode. Mm-hmm. And I say that even though the second one is removed from Halloween, but it still has the rules that the Simpsons get during Halloween specials versus what they get in normal episodes. And so each one of these truly fits here to me. And I really just appreciated that, because we've seen a lot of shit and a lot of shit that doesn't fit. So I was happy to finally see one that really felt like they were trying to fit it in correctly.
Well, and I think that's the best way to sum up this entire episode. It's very satisfying. But I do have one question to go back on the sketch, but then also to talk about this one. You've got these Halloween, I'm sorry, not Halloween, but you've got the jack-o'-lantern or the pumpkin that's coming to life. And then, of course, you have Tom Turkey. That's the symbol of Christmas, of Thanksgiving. And, of course, Santa Claus, Krampus for Christmas. Not sure about Hanukkah. I mean, you got the dreidel, but I'm not too knowledgeable on that holiday. Who would win between all these holiday mascots or beings if there
Nobody
were
wins.
a fight?
It's just a cycle.
Well,
That's
I mean,
it.
no,
Thanksgiving
not
always
against.
kills Halloween, and then Christmas kills Thanksgiving. It's reality, man.
Well, yeah, as far as time, but in the calendar. But if we actually had them in a fight, let's say it's like Celebrity Deathmatch or Holiday Deathmatch, who do you think is coming out of this?
The Easter Bunny.
I'm gonna take Santa.
Santa.
I don't know. Tom Turkey showed up with a gun, so. But then again, it's
But
probably
okay,
breech loaded.
look at Santa, right? Like he has
Okay.
a lot of workers.
No. It's one on
He's got
one.
his own army.
It's one on
I'm just
one.
saying they're gonna interfere.
It's one on one. There's no way to get around it. It's one on one.
Is it a
Santa's
ladder
gonna-
match?
Oh man, if it's a ladder match, Santa's
Steel
not winning
cage,
that.
Hell in the Cell.
Ooh. Money in the Bank.
Well, Labor Day Larry's got this.
Labor Day Larry. Who do you think Don would win?
Oh God. I think out of all the holidays, it would be MLK because you're not expecting it.
Wow.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah. I think no. A serious answer to that would be probably, the 4th of July firecracker, just going to blow everything up.
I mean, leprechauns have magic.
Yeah, but can they use it outside of that holiday?
I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
Ends the fight.
Anyway. It's in a place where time and time does not exist.
Well, leprechauns are the toughest, right? Because they're so often found in the hood.
This concludes another episode of the Necronomicon with Jim Savada, Don Guillory, and Thomas Sexton Brungardt.